It's time for math. Let's get started with clocks. So if you can find your clock that looks like this and your dry erase marker, then you will be ready to go. And what I want you to do first is draw 5 o'clock on your clock, and then I will put this up there so you see what it looks like. Did you make your clock look like that? And like this, with the longer hand pointing to the 12 and the shorter hand pointing to the 5. That is the minute hand, and this one is the hour hand. Remember, when the long hand, the minute hand, is pointing to the 12, then wherever the shorter hand, the hour hand, is pointing, that's what time it is. So here it would be 5 o'clock. Let's do one more. How about if we do 11 o'clock? I'll see if I can get this clock over to 11 o'clock. Actually, it might be no, it's the same. So I'll wind this around, and you keep making sure that yours is on 11. And 11 is right back here. There we go. So that one says 11. This one says 11. And I didn't write out how the digital works for 5 o'clock, but I should do that. So I'll write 5 o'clock first, and then 11 o'clock next. So when you write the time, you put the hour first, then you put 2 dots on top of each other, and then 2 zeros for the minutes. If you had some minutes, then you would put that amount of minutes instead of the zeros. So it looks just like that. Now, let's get started with today's lesson. We are going to talk about halves and quarters. And I think we've talked about halves before, that when you divide something in half, you have 2 equal pieces. Well, you guys are not with me, but I have a graham cracker here. And if you look very carefully on a graham cracker, it shows you where you can break it in pieces to have halves and quarters. And so I'll see if I can break it right on those spots. See, now I have it in halves. I have 2 pieces. A half is when you break something into 2 pieces, or you have 2 parts, and if you put it together, it would be one whole. So I could put these like this, and you would see that they are the same size. Now, if I break it along the next part there, and if I'm lucky and it breaks well, ooh, not too bad, but a little bit crooked. And the other one, ooh, this one broke better. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that are approximately the same size. And so these are all called quarters because there are 4. Just like when you talk about the coin called a quarter, a coin called a quarter is one of 4 parts of a dollar. So it's worth 25 cents. So there's 25, 50, 75, a dollar. So 4 parts. Just like 4 parts to this. You could also draw it like this. So I drew a square. And if I draw a line straight down the middle, I will do a dotted line. That is pretty close to straight down the middle. That now I have halves. And then if I go across the middle going the other way, now we have 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we have 4 parts, we say that's fourths. If we were at school, do you remember in the kitchen area where there was cake? The cake came apart into 4 pieces. Those are all called fourths. Or the pizza came apart into 4 pieces too. So, and that was round. So that's what you need to remember from today. When you divide something into 2 parts, then they're each called a half. And when you divide it into 4 parts, then they're each called a fourth. So if you look up here, I want you to think about which one would be the top on the left. So if you're thinking top, top would be up there, right? And then left would be over here because this looks like an L. So top left is here. Okay. And let's see, what if I do top right? That was easier, wasn't it? Because this was already top left and this is top right. So then if you want to go on the bottom right, see these two are on the bottom and this one is on the right. And then this would be bottom left. So you should be ready for your worksheet now because we have learned about quarters and halves. If you need a little more practice, you can see what you have in your house. Maybe you have some graham crackers and you could test this out with your mom and dad. Okay, because I'll get a little snack later. How nice. Now, what you need is the worksheet, and it looks like, I'll grab mine in a minute. It is, I did have it out. Okay, so it looks like this. You want your name on there first with your pencil, and then you'll need your crayons today too. When you have those, then we're going to get started, and I will help you with the first one, and then the rest of them you have to do by yourself, okay? So it says point to the circle that is divided in half. So this is the one that's divided in half. You see two parts. So you're pointing right there. I will make my main so that you can see it better. There you go, pointing in half. Now color the left half green. So left, remember left is when you have your hand facing you and the L is going the correct direction. So left would be over here and you're going to color that part green. So everybody color that green. If you need more time, you can pause the video. Then the next part says color the right half red. If you need more time, you can pause the video. Then you want to point to the circle that's divided into fourths. Point to that first. Then point to the fourth that's in the top right corner. Top and right. You want to color that fourth blue. So you're only coloring one piece of this. And you want to make sure you color the one that's on the top right and color that blue. If you need more time, you can pause the video. Then you want to point to the fourth that's in the bottom left corner. Bottom left. And you want to color that one orange. If you need more time, you can pause the video and then you'll go on to the back. Do you notice that there are not very many numbers there for you to trace? You have to put most of the numbers in yourself. And we were just practicing what time it is. So make sure you write the time down here, what time it is. Fill in the missing numbers, trace the ones that are there, and then figure it out what time it is. Put the hour first, then 2 dots on top of each other, and then 2 zeros. Just like we did when I was writing numbers here. Okay? So the hour is first, 2 dots on top of each other, 2 zeros, because there are no minutes. And that is math for today.